I can just imagine their conversation, just like, have you ever punched a bear? Just like, I'm open to anything, just like this guy. This guy is on our team.
Welcome back, travelers, to the legendary lore of Commander Legends. I am Ricky, and this is my cute co-host, Joe.
Would you be mad if I ate these really crunchy croutons on camera?
I'd be extremely angry if you ate those really crunchy croutons on camera.
Okay, just making sure.
We're going to start us off with a nice fan favorite, fan servicey kind of group. They're not really that fan servicey. People want them. Every legendary's fan service, I guess.
True,
I
especially
actually
for
really
you.
What?
Especially for you.
Yes, I like it when there's new legend. I love new legend. Joe, are you seriously eating those crunchy croutons right now?
I'm muted. I was finishing a cracker I started before the episode.
I'm sure you are. Anyways, Elena and Helena. They have basically the exact same name. They both derived from Elena. Whoopity-doo.
And they're both Sig.
Yes, they're actually, they love each other very much. And so this couple, they're both she's a trapper, she's a ranger. They're basically, they fight werewolves. They had their whole thing show up when they were fighting werewolves, and that is their entire spiel. They had an adventure. They continued to go across Innistrad. They encountered, they were one of the first people to encounter an Eldrazi horror version of a werewolf. And so that's they saw it, they're like, whoa, I wish there were still just normal werewolves. They kind of work together. This one 5 mana, this one 4 mana. So you play her first. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, pay 2. And when you do, that creature deals damage equal to its power to a creature. So she does fight ability, one-sided fight, which is super strong in most cases. And then Alena, she has first strike, at an amount of red equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So basically, she just enables her lover to be able to make the fight thing trigger every time a creature comes in. So play a big guy. Big guy gives you a ton of red mana. Use that red mana, do the fight effect. They're a nice little combo. They work great together. They naturally are perfect partners. How do you feel about these two, Joe? I know that she's green, but there's no need to talk about her because we already talked about her with this one.
There's nothing solid enough to give Alena vigilance in those colors.
Very good point, Joe. So you basically would not be using her for the attacking. If you could figure out a way to get red-green flash effects, there's a good amount of green. I was thinking you could put them in a werewolf deck. If you don't want to use Ulrich as your commander, you could have these two instead, so that every werewolf becomes a threat, since there's a lot of things that work in instant speed with werewolves.
Okay.
But yeah, red-green, they fit perfectly for it. We talked about Breeches. There's not much more to say about Breeches.
Breeches.
Be crazy. Dargo. I will say again, I love this little monkey. He's hilarious.
That's a goblin.
Good point. Dargo, the shipwrecker. Dargo is such a dumb story. I love him. So here's the thing. He's a giant. Do you know anything else about this guy?
He wrecks ships.
Do you know how?
Is it by his massive size?
So Dargo wanted to be a pirate. He's like, I'm Dargo. I'm going to be a pirate. I'm awesome.
Because you
And
couldn't.
So what happens is that he's like, he goes to a pirate ship and he's like, hey, I'm going to join your crew. And the pirate captain's like, you're huge. My boat can't carry you. You goon. And Dargo's like, you know what? And he grabs the what is the thing on the front of the hull? The front head? Figurehead? Masthead? Figurehead. Figurehead. It is a figurehead, right?
A mermaid.
Yeah, he grabs the statue, rips it off, and he holds it like a club, and he's like, I'm joining your crew. And he's like, welcome aboard! So they get out to sea. Dargo, like every step he does causes the entire boat to move. And he goes and like they get pretty far in until eventually there's like a gentle wave. It causes the boat to sink and buckle under Dargo's weight. Everyone dies except Dargo.
Dargo.
Because they all drown in the super deep sea that Dargo is wading through. And Dargo gets to the shoreline. He's like, Dargo's sad. And so he just kind of stays there eating lobster, as you can see. And he's just waiting for his crew to show up. And he's like, I guess they're dead. Guess I'll just wait for another boat. And so people see him like off the shoreline waving the figurehead. And they're like, oh, let's go save him. He must need help. Dargo's like, Dargo thanks you. And so Dargo gets on their boat and destroys it midway up. They all die. And then he goes back on the shoreline and repeats the process over and over again. He is hilarious.
So he wrecks ships by wanting to be a pirate.
Yes.
I love him.
And if you look at his effect, his additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any of your artifacts and or creatures. He costs 2 less for each permanent sack this way. So you can get him out super early if you just sack stuff, right?
That's cool.
He costs 2 less to cast for each other artifact or creature you've sacrificed this turn. So if you're playing something with sacrifice effects like Devour, or say you're using something that automatically is sacking things like Kesket, like I mentioned before, then it's going to count towards it. So you play Kesket on the 3rd turn. On the 4th turn, you sack 3 tokens. You play Dargo for 1 red.
Nice.
So, like, they feed into each other with that strategy. That's what I was talking about. They would be great in a sacrifice-based deck. If everything's sacrificing things, then that'd be a good way to get out of 7-5 with trample really fast. Okay, not really fast, but pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
I mean, he's just hilarious. I also love the idea that the way that, like, when you, like, say you kill Dargo or you exile Dargo and send him to the command zone, he's just stranded on the island again. And he's waiting for someone. Yeah, he's just waiting for someone to get him back on the ship. While he's on the ship, he's great for you. He dies, kill the crew, bring him back. It's hilarious.
I love Dargo.
He's just charming, and I really hope we get to see more of him. It's a lizard. So the way Kediss works is he's basically a really nice, loyal doggo that's in lizard form. And he makes it so that all of your commanders deal damage to everyone in like a shockwave fashion. So you attack the weakest guy and you get to deal damage to everybody else. It's pretty straightforward. He eats your garbage for you, so you don't have to pick it up. And he'll find you trinkets if he feels like it.
What a charming lad.
He is. He's a very charming lad. This is the king of flavor text. Can you read that, Joe?
Double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Let me explain. As you may have noticed from his name. Wait, Joe, do you know who this is?
That's Krark the Thumbless.
Do you know who he is?
That's the guy that doubles your spells, or that's the guy that's in main set unhinged card.
So, you got Krark. Krark was a Mirren goblin. He's actually from Mirrodin.
Take me home.
What I find interesting is that it looks like the Phyrexian background. I do know that the Oxida Ridge had that styling already.
Yeah.
I just get that vibe from it. But obviously wait a minute, does he... Is that Decay? It says Goblin Wizard, so he's probably Mirren. I'm looking too deep into that. He's a Mirren. He's from the olden days. He's not alive right now. I can guarantee it because there's an entire clan based around his teachings. Let me explain. Krark was a gambler. He was a gambling goblin. He went all across Mirrodin and all this other stuff. And I mean, he's a charming...
Or you continue. Say gambling goblin 10 times really fast.
Gambling goblin, gambling goblin, gambling goblin, gambling goblin, gambling goblin, 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 goblin.
You got to 7 if you want to count one of the gobbles. You did 5, so that was impressive. Anyway, continue.
Got to 7?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like including one of the methods, though.
Hold on. I might be able to do this if I just focus. Focusing.
5 was already impressive. I was gonna say 5, and then just like, no, let's go 10.
Goblin, 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 goblin. No, I got messed up on the 7th one again. Can't do it, Joe.
The 7's the record.
7 is the record. Can you do it?
No. Why do you think I had you do it?
You're like, no, I'm not a fool. I'm not gonna try doing that.
Okay. Gabbling goblin, gabbling goblin, gabbling goblin, gabbling goblin. I get to 4.
Beautifully done, Joe. Beautifully done.
So Krark.
Okay. Yes. So here's the idea behind Krark. He bet his thumb that he bet his lucky thumb with Durg on a Hellion race. His lucky
His thumb
thumb.
attached at the point he bet it.
Yes.
Okay.
He was like, I bet you my thumb that I could beat you in a race. And then, obviously, he loses the race. And Durg's like, that's my thumb now. I give it 3 thumbs up. And Krark's like, wait. That's my lucky thumb. You can't take it from me. Double or nothing. And Durg's like, look, buddy. Quit while you're a thumb. And he's like, nah. And so he chops off his other thumb and he's like, I'll bet them both. And he's like, okay. And he loses again. Durg's like, well, you got nothing left. And he's like, cool. And Krark's like, look, do it again. We'll bet again. Both thumbs way up. Didn't work out. Did not work out. So the new thing was that Krark was going to travel to the center of Mirrodin. Now you may remember that Mirrodin was hollow at the time. This is far past, back when Glisa was still a good guy and all this stuff, right? So
Yes.
Krark goes to the center of Mirrodin and comes back. And he wrote a book about everything he discovered and all that, right? Durg's like, oh my gosh, you did it. Here are your thumbs. And so Krark, as you can see in the artwork right here, that's one of his thumbs. You can see the little talon right there.
It's around his neck.
Yes, he wears it around his neck. He wears his thumbs around his neck. He has his thumbs. Now, the whole reason he exists is because of in the original Mirrodin block, there was a card called Krark's Thumb, which specifically lets you flip coins a second time. That was a real black border card. Krark's other thumb was a silver border card that lets you roll dice twice and decide. So both of them are gambling based, basically like luck based. And so they made this variant of Krark that uses the black bordered thumb so that he's able to flip the coins. What that means is that Krark canonically has no thumbs.
That's amazing.
And he died, obviously, he died. When he died,
Of old age.
people took his book and his thumb and they became relics, holy relics, and the Krark clan formed around him. They're the cult of Krark. And they like spread the word there was a secret world inside of Mirrodin. Joe, what are you doing? Hey, Billy.
The Krark story.
What was your favorite episode? Oh, I like the one where Joe muted and shoved his face full of crunchy croutons.
I was just opening it. It needed to be opened with my
Rograkh.
thumb.
Okay, Joe. Wait, what do you think of Krark? Because Krark is all kinds of wonky.
I love him. I want a commander based around him. He's amazing.
I feel like if you really thought about it, you could find a commander that really works with instants and sorceries, so that you could build it around that kind of idea, and of course use Krark's Thumb, which would be hilarious to have them both out, and almost guarantee that you can copy every spell you do.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I don't know. You know how 50-50 chances go. I like how I choose the rules every battle.
I really do hate that. It's infuriating.
It's 50-50.
Obviously, our Pokemon battles are exaggerated slightly, but that is...
The fact that I choose the rules every time is not exaggerated. For some reason, it always lets me do it.
So, Rograkh, son of Rograkh. Who is this guy? Who do you think
What
it is?
about the Rugrats?
I knew you were going to make that joke. I thought of making that joke. So, Rograkh is the son of Rograkh, who are both kobolds. You don't see a lot of kobolds. They live on Keep. Keep is where Prosh, the giant dragon, lives. The kobolds worship Prosh and his incredibly destructive behavior. That's why whenever you bring Prosh in, Prosh is a Jund-colored commander. Whenever he comes in, he makes a ton of kobold tokens, and then you can sack as many of them as you want to pump up Prosh because he eats them all, right?
He also works with Perforos. That's how Daniel uses them.
That's true. Now, the way Rugrak worked was that he would pump kobolds because he was the king. He would, he thought, you know what? How best to emulate our powerful, all-destructive god than to become an all-destructive god? Because the whole ideology was emulate Prosh. So he became the king of the kobolds. The problem is that Rograkh was using this as an excuse, basically, to exploit his people. And he was just taking over everything, and he was spreading his rule, and he was kind of taking away tributes from Prosh, right? His son, Rugrak, believed that his father had perverted the religion that they held so dear, and is leading a coup against him with like-minded kobolds. Mind you, all kobolds are 0-1s.
Foolish kobold warrior
wielding a plastic sword. It's hilarious, but this guy,
a burning dragon god of evil, wielding
but
a
as you can
plastic
see,
sword.
he has First Strike, Menace, and Trample. He just needs someone to equip him. He just needs someone that can enable his inane crusade, which I'd like to point out, he's red. He's got the zealotry. I love it. I love red zealotry. It's so pure and it's so hilarious to me.
I also enabler.
Yes. So, strength is relative. It's a reference to his relative who is strong. Also, the fact that he is strong relative to kobolds.
True. He has more abilities than kobolds.
But he still costs 0, which I love.
He still hits for 0.
Meaning that you could actually play him first turn if you felt like it, and his commander tax is the only reason you have to pay mana for him.
That is kind of cool.
So what do you think of Rograkh?
I definitely want to see him in battle.
You want to use him with Krark?
Yes.
I actually could see him working with other. There's some other partners with Equip that are not in this set that I feel like would really jazz him up.
Lisa Simpson.
Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa.
Okay, lost track of time, so let's do the last red one before the Planeswalker.
Let's do it. Toggo. The end. Toggo's basically just he's Skirk. So he's from the same clan, like I wouldn't say species, same clan as Squee, which is why he's hilarious. So Targen's whole deal is that he's a weaponsmith, and so he did everything he could to make the perfect weapon. So he tried making spears, but people kept accidentally stabbing themselves. He tried making bows and arrows, but they couldn't aim them right, and they kept hurting their feet. He tried making the double-bladed sword. That went about as well as you'd expect. So he picked up the pieces, and he was like, well, I got to do something. And as he was picking up the pieces, he realized his greatest creation was staring at him the entire time.
You got a rock.
The Rock. So Toggo goes to his clan, and he's like, guys, I did it. I finally had a breakthrough. I'm the most brilliant inventor ever. I give you the Rock. The Eye Rock. Perfect for throwing at your opponents. And so his whole deal is a land appears, so he discovers a new area, so he picks up a rock, and then you can give that by equipping for 1 to someone. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice rock. This creature deals 2 damage. So the person that you equip has to actually make the effort of tapping to throw the rock at whatever you feel like.
That's amazing.
He's incredibad, and I love him.
I love him.
It is worth noting, he has some synergies. Say you're just trying to get metalcraft or just have a large, massive artifacts, you can just keep putting lands into play and get artifacts out of it. and never actually.
There were some
goes
guys in here that benefited from a bunch of artifacts.
Exactly. You could put him technically with Armix. I know we put him. Who do we put him with? We put him with someone dumb. That like he didn't deserve to be with. Was it Nadir? No. The point. Oh no. No, it wasn't him either. I don't remember who we put him with. Just look back at an older episode. Obviously, with all the green guys, you'll just look back at older episodes to see who they partnered with. But yeah, Toggo is hilarious. And he has like hidden potential. I definitely could see him in a deck that utilizes him properly. But on his own, he's just dumb. Kind of like Squee. On his own, super dumb, but can be used beautifully.
And is that it for Red before you go into your giant spiel about Jessica?
Yes, Jessica and Kamal's story, which will be a dual story between these two beautiful mythics, will be told in their own standalone episode, similar to the past two epic stories to tell.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and see you guys next time with some more legend lore, whatever Ricky's been calling this. I haven't been paying attention until my cue.
Legendary lore!
Bye, guys. Don't look at me like that. We're done.